Hi everyone, Kathy from Rock Lake Weaving here. Today we're going to talk about setting up and checking for errors. So I've got a little tiny warp here on my Leclerc 8-shaft compact loom. I've already tied it up, I've got tension on it, I hope I've threaded it correctly, and I'm just going to do what I can to check before I start weaving. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look right here at the reed and see if I can spot any errors. So I'm looking here, this is 1 end per dent in a 12 dent reed with 4/8 cotton. I haven't missed any dents here. I can see that there's no big gaps. I can also see that I haven't doubled any up, so that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press each treadle in turn, and I'm going to compare the shafts here that lift with my tie-up on my draft. So I'm going to hit treadle 1, and I should be lifting shafts 1, 2, 5, and 8. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4s down, 5s up, 6, 7s down, 8s up. That's great. So my tie-up is correct. I'm also going to be looking in the shed here to see if there's anything that looks a little wonky, if there's threads that are getting hung up in here. And I don't see any in this case. So I'm just going to continue on, and I'm going to pick up the next treadle, same thing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are down, 6 is up, 7, 8 are down. That's correct. And again, I'm going to check my shed. Everything looks good there. So I'm going to continue through looking for any errors. Often this is a place where if I have crossed threads, if I do the one heddle and the next one, but I switch them when I'm slaying, that will show up. They'll kind of float in the middle of the shed, which is not what we want. So that's what I'm looking for here. Just double checking my tie-up and my shed on each one. And that's going to give me a pretty good idea if I've made any big mistakes. So this one is my plain weave. So 1, 3, 5, 7, that looks good. And this one also looks good. Now there might be an error here, because if you can see right here, I've got 2 ends that are next to each other. This is a twill threading, which means that I alternate odd and even. So if I'm lifting shafts 2, 4, 6, and 8, I should have a thread in every other dent up, and the alternating other dents should be down. I've got 2 next to each other, so that might be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my finger below here. I'm going to let that down. I'm going to move the reed forward, and I'm going to put my hand behind here. So I've got the threads that are concerning, and I'm going to go back and check. So I've got the 2 separated between my fingers here, as you can see. And I'm going to look at the couple threads before. So that looks like that one is on shaft 6. I've got 7, I've got 8, and then I've got 6. So I've made a mistake here. So I need to figure that one out. So I've got 6, and then I've got 5 and 5. So I've made a mistake here. That should have been 8, 7, 6, 5, not 8, 6, 5, 5. So I know that I've got my mistake right here in the 2 that are both threaded in 5. So I'm going to lift those threads up, move the reed back, transfer those threads in my finger. Now, if I turn the camera, you can see where I've tied on. They're both in this one bundle. So I'm going to take my little slip knot, pull that out. I'm going to break my surgeon's knot so that all these ends are good. So these are the threads that are concerning. I'm going to set those ones to the side. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to make a repair heddle, and then I'm going to rethread that and double check my slaying, tie back on, and then I'll be ready to weave. So this is an example of a great time that I can look for and find mistakes before I start weaving, because these things are just easier to fix before weaving starts. I hope this helps. Happy weaving, guys.